Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast, Program Yourself Thin podcast. We're talking about using better strategy to lose weight. And so the first step to using better strategy to lose weight is to realize the strategy you have been using so far sucks. It's so awful. It's the dumbest strategy on the planet. I I don't know much more strongly I can frame that, because your strategy has been dieting. But really, if we dig a little deeper into the strategy of dieting to lose weight, it's basically that you are going to all of a sudden in one day take control of all of your eating choices and maybe even lifestyle choices just instantly, just because you decided to. And this is the big mistake you're making strategically, is that your brain is not built for you to consciously take control of all of your automated behaviors. And your eating is an automated behavior. It's something that has multiple levels to it that are running on autopilot in your subconscious mind, from the mindset of how you think about food, the food that you eat, what you consider to be options, what foods you like, up to your lifestyle that impact your cravings and your hunger, to finally the foods that you end up eating. And if you look at your life, you'll notice that you consistently eat the same foods week after week. You're not constantly eating new foods. You might eat new types of foods. You might have different flavors of potato chips each week. But basically, your eating patterns are very, very automated, aren't they? You eat very similarly week to week, even though you may think it's always different. It's not. It might be different fast food places, but it's always fast food at certain times. And so on and on. And so when you begin to realize that your weight is really run by and controlled by your automated behaviors, you start to understand the issue a lot more clearly. And if we compare it to something else, which is a simple automated technique like brushing your teeth, brushing your teeth is something you do at least probably 2 times a day, and you just do it on autopilot. You don't have it in your planner. You don't have to keep reminding yourself. You just wake up, brush your teeth, and go about your day. And a lot of times you might not remember if you brush your teeth or not. So that's another automated behavior that just runs automatically. And so all of your eating is just like that, but it's happening many times a day. And so when you try to diet to lose weight, you're basically saying, okay, now I'm going to take conscious control of all of my decisions and behaviors. And it is estimated that we make over 200 food decisions a day. So you're saying, I'm going to take conscious control of all of those. And to get a real sense of what that would feel like, that would be like if tomorrow you said, you know what, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to brush my teeth with my other hand. I'm going to use my computer mouse with my other hand. I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to hold it in my other hand. Now, it sounds simple enough because you know how to do all those things. But as soon as you go to actually do them, you're very quickly going to realize how much more energy intensive and difficult it is to consciously do things that usually run on autopilot. And I would highly doubt that you could make it through the day brushing your teeth, using your phone, and using your computer mouse with your other hand. You wouldn't last, because you would get annoyed, you get frustrated, you get sick of doing it, you get tired of concentrating on it. And what would you do? You'd revert back to your old behaviors. Ta-da! This is why you can't lose weight long-term, because yes, you can force yourself to act differently for a little while, but ultimately when you diet, you never really get to the core automated behaviors in the background that are really controlling your weight ultimately. And what you're doing really is just a temporary fix, if we want to call it that. It's a temporary change in behavior that yields you temporary results at best. And this will continue to be your experience as long as you try and force yourself and control yourself to eat differently. The alternative that I would suggest is that you learn how to program your subconscious mind so that you automatically begin doing the things, eating the way you need to eat in order to live at the weight you want to live at. But it's a completely different approach, because instead, in that model, instead of dedicating all of our energy and willpower to fighting against our behaviors, we're using that willpower to install new behaviors. And that's the fundamental difference. That's the fundamental strategy difference between dieting and between the Program Yourself Thin approach. And so if this is appealing to you, if this has made any light bulbs go on and you want to go deeper into this Program Yourself Thin process, click the link in my bio, go get the free hypnosis session, watch the video I made, read the emails I send, and let me show you a better strategy. And because when you have a better strategy, you typically get better results. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them and I will try and answer them. Yeah, let's see what we got going on here. What's up, Tabitha? How's it going? How's it going? I got your email, Tabitha. I answered it. If you had any more questions on that, though, feel free to let me know. What's up, Mario? Maria, if I'm saying that correctly, Maria says my TDE is 2250 calories, so I'm eating 2000. I'm trying to lose weight slowly this time and be mindful. Yeah, super. I think that's smart. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful strategy. Now, the one thing I would add is I would like to know where your calories were before, so you're aiming to eat 2000 calories a day. Okay. And so to have context, I would want to know where you were starting from. Did you typically eat 3000 calories a day, 2500 calories a day, 2200 calories a day? I would like to know that because to me, that's going to be a huge indicator of how successful you may be. Right. And so if you were eating 2300 calories and you're looking to move it down to 2000, I think that's smart. I think you should really aim at calorie reductions in the ballpark at 10% at a time, because anything, as we start getting to, I'm going to cut 15% of my calories out, 20% of my calories out, 30, 40, 50, 60. Dieters typically will cut 50, 60% of their calories out on day one. Right. So that's an extreme because extreme is relative to the person, their personality to one degree, but it's also mathematical based on where your average calorie were and where you're looking to bring them to. So it's mathematical in a sense too. 10% is not extreme. 60% is extreme. And so a 10% reduction in calories, your chance of success goes way up. A 60% reduction in calories, your chance of success go way down because it's going to feel overwhelming. So, but I like what you're saying here. So again, the only other piece of information I'd want to know is where you were typically at with your calories just regularly, and how much of a reduction get to 2000 it would be. But I like what you're saying. It all sounds very rational, reasonable, comfortable-ish from what I can tell here. So nice job. What's up, Katie? How's it going? Mary Loves Herself says, I was out with friends yesterday and they said I am a big back. What does that mean? Oh, yikes. Well, you don't want to be called a big back if you want to lose weight. I can tell you that. And Mr. Mario over here has taught me what big back means. It basically means that you're really just huge overeating. Big backing it is like you watch those videos, they'll take like a Snickers bar, put it on a cupcake and put that on a piece of pizza. Big backing it. And again, we just live in a crazy world where, I always say everyone's life gives them what they give them. But for me, my father died at 54 of a heart attack, and he was always known as an eater. He was obese and not morbidly obese, but obese. And so for me, a lot of times I look at this food stuff as someone who may have lost a parent to a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction. I don't find the humor in it as much. You know what I mean? Like it's very much like that to me. So I know there's a lot of, the mukbang stuff, the food challenges, the big backing it, and it's all funny. I just don't get the humor. We live in our country, I think it's 74%. I thought it was 75, but right now at this moment in time in America, 74 to 75% of the population is overweight or obese. And that number is just skyrocketing. They're estimating it's going to be 90% within the next 10 years. That's fucking crazy, because guess what that means? What coincides with that number is the number of preventable deaths. And so now weight-related preventable death is the highest preventable death, overtaking smoking. So, it's funny, I guess, but to me it's not, because to me it's being a 9-year-old kid and my dad just died. Just to be honest, and not to be so blunt and hard, but that's how I look at it. I don't think it's funny, Again, I'm not saying don't pig out sometimes and do that shit. I get it, but it's just we live in such a crazy world where I'm attacked regularly on social media for talking about how to eat better. like regularly, because people say, let people live their lives. You're all you care about is losing weight. And it's like, we live in a society, I don't know, somehow, it's not somehow, but in this culture, we really have separated the food from the consequence that awaits you. And most people really just focus. And it's funny because you don't do it with, it's hardly anything else in life that you do that with. Right now, again, I know there's people addicted to drugs and alcohol and other stuff, but when we think of those substances, we tend to have a fairly clear sense of what the consequences are. Gambling, all sorts of addiction type things. We have a very clear sense of what the consequence is. But when it comes to the food, that consequence is very blurry. Now, again, I know people are very aware, if I eat a lot of bullshit, I'll be overweight and I won't look good. But what about how long you might live? How about your quality of life, physically, mentally, and emotionally while you're alive? How about your relationships? How about your ability to, whatever's important to you, it's going to be dramatically impacted by how you eat, how you live, and what your weight is. So, I don't know. But anyways, Mary, yeah, that's a big back. And so what were you doing to be called a big back, though? That's my question to you. What were you eating? That says, in what way they said it? Because it's a fun way of saying that you eat a lot of fast food. Oh, is it fast food too? I didn't realize that. I've only seen like one or two videos. I don't really like watching that shit. I don't find it entertaining. You know what I mean? Like I said, I bring a lot of baggage to it. I freely admit that, but I just don't find a lot of that eating stuff interesting. I will say the one exception I have is I do find myself watching these eating challenges sometimes, but it's still the same thing. It'd be like if they had a show where people are just like, slamming as much alcohol as they can. Well, I used to watch that guy. There used to be a guy, and he would, and I don't even know if this was real. It seemed real, but he would like open a whole bottle of alcohol, and it was disgusting. I don't know. I guess there's just a morbid fascination with it, I suppose. But I watched this beard versus food guy, and I watch him, and I'm like, God, this is disgusting. I can't imagine. I would never do this to my body. I don't know. I guess anyways. Mary says they just randomly said it after I ordered pasta and dessert after it. Yeah, and they started laughing. Yeah, it's not a compliment. I mean, it's basically just a way of saying, yeah, you like fast food. That's a nice way of saying it, I suppose. I said, yes, I read your email. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Good. Maria's okay. Yeah, around 2,500 to 2,800 calories. Okay. Well, now that puts a little more context on things, because I will tell you, anytime you all think, like, people are real good, and you're never good at tracking your calories. You always got to understand that. Anytime you're tracking your calories, you really got to kind of recognize there's about a 20% wiggle room there, and no fault of your own. There's a 20% wiggle room on the box, and it varies from food to food. But when you track your calories, when you're not tracking your calories. So when people are actually tracking their calories, obviously a lot more specific and maybe probably a lot more accurate. But when people aren't in that tracking mode and they're estimating how much they think they typically eat, you're way underestimating it, most likely. All right. But now I'm hearing 25 to 2,800 calories. So now I'm thinking it's 2,800 to probably 3,100 calories on average. And now I'm thinking it's 2,800 calories on average is what I would go with. And I would say, okay, now you're talking about a 35% reduction in calories. Now, again, you know what I mean? 10% is relatively comfortable. 60% is really intense and overwhelming. 35% is right in the middle. So, play with it, but at least have perspective on what you're doing. Have some context to what you're taking on. I find dieters, I call it dieting delusion, dieting dementia, whatever we want to call it. Dieters really are some of the least aware people on the planet. And the idea, I'm just going to go for it all. I'm just going to cut 60% of my calories out. Like you have no context to what that means, right? If I say to you, okay, you know what? I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start working out 4 hours a day at the gym. Okay. Well, you have context what that means, right? That's gonna be, holy shit, that's gonna be really hard. That's gonna be really hard. Right. But when it comes to cutting 10%, 20%, 40%, 60% of my calories out, you just, for some reason, dieters are just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go to the 60%. I want to lose weight quick. There's no internalization of how difficult that is, which again, I think is part of the hypnotic trance that most dieters are in, and that they're not living in an accurate reality. They're living in a fantasy world, a funhouse of mirrors, if you will. They're not seeing things for what they are. And that's just one piece of the puzzle why dieters will probably always be overweight amongst many reasons. But dieting is really a silly, silly strategy, going back to the beginning of the call here. But yeah, so anyways, just recognize that, Maria. And again, so it just gives you context because dieters completely lack awareness, just totally. Although they're very good at knowing like the scientific reasons why carbs might cause you to gain weight. You got like, what? Dieters are like that person who knows like random facts about meaningless shit. That's a dieter, in my opinion. Tons of facts and science about shit that really doesn't matter ultimately. How about that? So anyways, Maria, so you go into your thing and now at least you have a sense. Okay, if I'm struggling, it's not because you just have no willpower. Do you see what I mean? So actually, this is a fun one. Let me dive into this for a second, because if I see Maria next week and I say, "Hey, you started that diet. How's the diet going?" And Maria goes, shit. I started off and it was okay for a couple of days and I fucking blew it. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. Right. And so, no, again, 30% is okay. But let's just say Maria said, I'm going to cut 65% of my calories out. And I see her next week. She goes, I don't know what's wrong with me. I blew it again. I started out okay and then fell apart. And we're saying, yeah, I know. I don't know why. Why is it so hard to lose weight? I don't know why. Right. So flummoxed. Just, what's going on? Now, if I said to you, okay, I'm starting my new workout and it's 5 hours a day. I go to the gym 5 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then you see me next week and you say, hey, how's that working out going? Right? You can do 5 hours a day, 7 days. How's it going? And like, man, I don't know. I started out I did 2 days and it's great. And then I don't know, it fell off. I don't know what's fucking wrong with me. I can't stick to anything. And I'm just no self-control or willpower. I don't know why I can't do it. Right. In that case, you'd be like, well, don't you think 5 hours is a little bit much? Don't you think 5 hours is 7 days a week is kind of overwhelming to you? Like, it would be so obvious to say that, right? But when it comes to the dieting thing, there's like no limit. There's no limit where you finally say, you know what, maybe it's not you, maybe it's the strategy. That's a funny one. I've never put it that way. That's a good one. That's a good analogy, the working out one, because then you can see that clearer. I think they're not as conditioned with that. Maria says, because I feel full with 2000, I just binge the rest and feel tired and feel bad. I just want to feel good. Yeah, great job. Mario said, I'm glad Tabitha said it for me. I was ready. That's funny. Tabitha says, I'm a retired big back. Nice. Mario said, I'm sorry, but being called a big back is bullying for sure. Yes. Thank you, Mario. I'm glad you put the context on it. You understand it more than I do, but it's certainly not a nice thing for friends to say to you. It's in the ballpark. I'm just going to say it. It's an unpleasant phrase, but I'm just going to say it. Mario, you let me know if I'm accurate with this, but is it in the ballpark of you're kind of like a fat pig? I mean, like it's in that ball. It's funny. Ha ha ha. But it's not funny. Is it? I don't know. You have to let me know, Mario, because Mario's a deeper sense of how that's used, but it's not a nice thing to say. So yeah. That's the worst. The worst bullying is the bullying done with a smile, in my opinion, by people that you're close to. That's not a good thing. Jim says, I had the weirdest thing happen at a relative party. Parents told everyone I was dieting or whatever. And so everyone was shocked to see me eat dessert. Yeah, right. Again, I think that's hilarious. I've been dealing with that for 30 years because when I go to parties, I eat more. And can you imagine? Folks, don't you do this? I mean, some people have drinking issues. I get that. But typically, if you go to a party, you might have a drink, or you might have more drinks than you normally do. You might laugh more than you normally do. You might eat a little more than you normally do. That's what a party means. If you're not partying every single day, that's a healthy, probably way to interface with partying. So I eat well most of the time so that when I do go to a party, I can eat some of the foods that I like to eat more. And people always look and say, I don't know how you're so thin. I don't know where do you put it? How do you do it? And say, listen, I don't eat like this all the time. That's where I put it. Come watch me the other 5 days of the week and you'll understand real quick. So good for you, Jim. And I want you to realize that. And people have no clue. I mean, no one has any idea how to lose weight. No, people know how to lose weight, but no one has any idea how to live as a thin, healthy person. So, pretty much, I will tell you this, folks. Pretty much anytime anyone says anything to you about your weight, and this includes dietitians. I have dietitians talking to me all the time because they have no fucking clue what to do. Anyone can tell you what to do. Very few people on the planet have the ability to help you actually get yourself to do it consistently. So anytime someone tells you something about your weight, I hope you take it with a grain of salt, unless it's me. If I tell you something about your weight, you should listen. I'm kind of joking, but I'm not. But yeah. So anytime someone says something about your weight, I mean, I would just go one ear and out the other. It's kind of like if you started studying quantum physics and it's like your family says something about it, it's like you don't fucking have any clue what you're talking about. So I appreciate that you're saying something that's funny to me, but you really have no idea what you're talking about. So okay, I'll be fine. So anyways, yeah, that's funny, Jim, but people do that. So Stephanie says I was attacked by family over going all vegetables. Yeah, family will go crazy. We talk about this all the time. And this again is one of those really important pieces of weight loss that is usually overlooked. People rarely really focus on how am I going to deal with my family and my friends and my relationships as I transform into changing how I eat, because a lot of our bonding and our rapport building is done over food. And as soon as you break that, it does feel weird. It's a real thing. And so what ends up happening usually is you start eating healthier and people start attacking you, or making fun of you or make you feel bad or whatever. That's very common. That's probably the norm, I would say, more than people like really supporting you. So I get it, Yeah, Jim said like they were making all sorts of jokes about it. So weird. Yeah, exactly. Right. So people love that. That's the game. That's the parlor game, right? Is someone's on a diet and everyone's just watching now, waiting for him to screw up so they can, oh, guess you're not on your diet anymore, huh? How's the diet going? Just waiting. And so again, usually you really just, as often as you can, just don't say anything to people. It makes a much easier path. And then when people do say something, you got to process it somehow. I remember those days, and I had to process a lot of things. I used to get I was very triggerable when I was younger. I'm still triggerable, let it be known, but I have a lot more control over it. But yeah, back in the day, people would say all sorts of shit and I'd respond to it. And so, but it was practice. I kept practicing how to respond differently, how to internalize it differently. And that's what led me to having control over it. And now, I don't give a shit what anyone says. Oops, shit. Hold on, let me get these questions here. D says, my husband had a recent heart attack. He is super young. I started your program during this stressful time. Would you suggest restarting or what is my next step? Geez, sorry, D. I hope he's okay. Yeah, I don't know where you were in the program. Here's the thing, right? So if you were like more than halfway through, I would probably just finish it and then restart it. And if you were at the beginning of it, I'd probably just restart it from the beginning. That's probably what I would look. But you really can't go wrong. Understand that the hypnosis program is not really this linear thing necessarily. It's more like the more exposure you get to it. And it doesn't matter what order you expose yourself to it. Doesn't matter. And again, you can go through the program regularly. So I do want everyone to know that people that are in the program, the Nudge app is going away, and it's going away very, very quickly here. And it will be replaced. You will still get those messages in the morning that go straight to your phone, but they're just straight text from my system. So you'll open the text, you'll click on the link, and it'll bring you to that day's session. But the Nudge app's going away. So I just want to let anyone that's here know that. Zara says, I eat healthy but can't lose weight. Again, you can eat healthy. Eating healthy doesn't make you lose weight. It can support you losing weight because it usually eating healthy makes it a lot easier to eat less for a lot of reasons. But your weight loss really comes down to your calorie consumption, how much calories you consume during the day. So a lot of times what happens with the eating healthy thing is you eat healthy and then you experience the licensing effect. So you're so in your head thinking, oh, I'm eating healthy, I'm going to lose weight, this is great, that you're actually eating the same amount of calories as you always did. But you're eating healthy and now you're not aware that you're eating the same amount of calories. So yeah, that's why you're not losing weight, because you're still eating the same amount of calories, even though you're eating healthy. So Katie says big back just means overweight, right? I don't think it has anything to do with how or what we eat. Oh, I did not think that. I think big back is about being fat and also eating a lot at the same time, because these phrases like big backing it, meaning ordering and eating lots of food. That's what I thought. I always thought big back was more the act of eating just a ton of food and a ton of egregious food. Like I said, the stuff I said, I looked at it for 2 minutes, but it just seemed like it was, oh yeah, I was big backing it today. I took 6 Oreos, put them on a piece of pizza, and put that piece of pizza on, a scoop of ice cream. Something just crazy shit. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong. Like, I'm not a big back expert, but but it's definitely it's definitely not a compliment. Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Jeez, I got all my guys coming back this week. I was noticing that. All 4 of you come back this week. Dylan said I'd lost over 50 pounds and now I tried maintaining and gained like half of it back already. I need help. You do need help, Dylan. Yes, folks, if you keep losing weight and then you put it all back on and you can't lose weight and you can't keep your weight you want, yes, you need help. That's exactly right. Yes. Yeah, you need help. That's the first step, though. The first step, knowing you need help, right? Isn't that what they say? And I think that's a profound concept, because dieters, again, are the most oblivious people on the planet. Dieters always think they know everything to do and they just need to get themselves to do it. And they keep, it never works, but that ain't going to stop a dieter from believing it. Dieter's going to diet. They can't lose weight. They can't keep it off, but dieting's the way still. Okay. No, you do need help, Dylan. Yeah, you got to find a better way. Dylan said you have a smart face. Has anyone ever said that to you? No one's ever said I had a smart face. It's been quite the opposite. So that's a nice thing to hear. Well, thank you. Mara says, yes, correct. It's a very passive aggressive way to call someone a pig because very gross. Yes, that's what I thought. Again, I hate that phrase. It's very unpleasant, but it's what people are subtly, sneakily shivving you with. It's very unpleasant. And it does speak to the friends here around Mary. Oh, poor Mary. I get the impression with Mary, and I do what I can in these lives, as I always remember Mary, because Mary used to get on here and she'd have Mary's handle on her social thing is Mary loves herself now. But it used to be Mary, if I'm not mistaken, it used to be Mary loves cake. And I said, I don't love cake. And I swear you changed to Mary loves cookies. And then it was Mary loves herself. And I was very happy for you did that. But again, it does, if I armchair psychoanalysis from a million miles away, which I don't like to do, but I will do. There's probably a little bit of self-esteem issue going on. And what happens is you're seen as the fat, funny friend, and you absorb that and you absorb all their bullshit comments and the way they treat you. And it sucks. And that's why I'm here. That's what bothers me more than anything is the emotional pain that overweight people have to live in for no good reason. You can lose weight. You can live as a thin, healthy person. You just have to learn how, but, yeah, it makes me think your friends are kind of shitty, Mary. That's what I think from the things you've said, not just this, but it seems like there's a number of things you've kind of said that make me think. I could be wrong. Okay. I don't know them, but it makes me think that they treat you less than, and I don't think they're very nice to you. This is the impression I'm getting. Bibbo Swan says, what are reasons for self-sabotage weight loss results? Well, me personally, I always push on this. I know people don't like when I say this and don't agree, but I don't really believe in the framing of you self-sabotaging as much as you not knowing what to do, right? So let's just say you've never played the piano before, and I sit you at the piano and I say, okay, play me a song. And you go, well, I don't know how to play. And I say, no, you're just self-sabotaging yourself. Come on, let's hear it. You can do it. And I don't know. Think. I don't know what to do. No, you're self-sabotaging yourself. Come on. Are they self-sabotaging themselves? They not know what to do. So I think this framing is better. Take it or leave it. But I don't think the process isn't that you're self-sabotaging yourself. The process is you don't know what to fucking do. You don't know how to maintain your weight loss. You don't know how to get yourself to make healthy choices on autopilot. You don't know how to influence your mindset. You don't know how to influence how you feel. You don't know how to influence your emotions, your behavior, your eating. So is it self-sabotage? Or is it that you don't know how to do it? Oh, I know how to do it, Jim. I just got to get myself to do it. No, that's not knowing how to do it. Knowing how to do it, it's like using can you remember learning how to use a computer mouse? I know it was a long time ago, right? But if you go back to it, it's like, okay, you knew how to use it technically, right? But you know what? Let me switch this over. You know how to write with your hands, right? You know how to write. Well, you know how to write with your hand, right? You can write with one hand. And so you know everything there is to know about writing, but you can't do it with the other hand. So if I say, okay, write with that other hand. Come on, you know how to do it. Let's write with the other hand. Let's see it. And you're just like, and I'm like, come on, you're just self-sabotaging yourself. You know how to write, don't you? Just get yourself to do it. Come on, Stop sabotaging yourself. Well, that's a weird way to frame that, isn't it? And it would put you into a weird loop where you can't figure it out, because all of a sudden you're like, why do I keep sabotaging myself? Yeah, I do know how to write. I do know how to write. Why don't I write with my other hand? Whoa, what's wrong with me? How come I keep self-sabotaging myself? Because I do know how to write, but why don't I do it with my other hand? Because you don't fucking know how to write with the other hand. You haven't practiced it. It's real simple. And now that framing allows you to figure out what the real problem is and to fix it. But the self-sabotage thing is a loop that never gets you anywhere. And prove me wrong. I deal with people this all day long. And I work with very intelligent, smart, successful people who have spent 30, 40 years trying to figure out why they keep self-sabotaging, what's wrong with them, and they get nowhere. And then they work with me for, a minute, and it's like, let's figure out what to do. And then they get a lot further along. So that's what I think about that. Aya says, I'm at a healthy weight. I try not to restrict and maintain my weight, but still binge. Why? I try not to restrict makes me think that you restrict sometimes. And so I would want to, in my mind, start paying attention to why I binge, right? So again, the first step to stopping binging, in my opinion, is to figure out why you're binging in the first place. And the big three reasons are usually over restricting. You get too hungry, you can't control your eating, you eat too much. Emotional reasons. You get overwhelmed with emotion, you don't know how to deal with it, you turn to the food to deal with it. Or habit. It's Friday night, party time, and I binge. So, and it could be all three of those, but I would start to diagnose, why am I binging? The last time I binged, what was going on? Was I hungry? Where was that emotionally? Is this a habit pattern? And I would start to diagnose it and deep dive into it, because again, the more you're binging, you have binging patterns, and you probably have a couple of them. And so we can't just, again, dieters, how are you going to fix binging? Dieters, you're just going to use your willpower. You're just going to stop binging. Just going to stop the binging. That's it. Jim, stop with all this shit. You just got to want it. You just got to want it. You just got to stop binging. And it's like, oh my God, dieters, wake the fuck up. It obviously takes more than that, don't you think? You're not an idiot. You've known about the willpower solution for decades now. How's it working? It ain't working. So yeah, you got to understand the binge first, and you need to understand in more granular detail, because if it's over restricting, that requires a different solution than if it's just a habit. And if it's an emotional thing, it requires a different solution. So again, you got to know what the problem is before you can apply the solution. So again, you're the one who has to figure out why. But again, when I hear you say, I try not to restrict, it makes me think you're probably restricting a bit more than you realize. And that's part of why you're binging. And I can almost guarantee you there's emotional reasons too. There almost always are. So that's what I would do. Gratitude 108 says, I'm starting my 3rd week of daily hypnosis, and miraculously, muster, it's feeling great. The mantras. Yeah, it's feeling great, right? So let's do a little screenshot of that too. I got my thing going on. Yeah. So again, yeah, Gratitude 108's in the program. Yeah. Do you think it might feel great, folks? Do you think, folks, if you're not in the program, listen to this for a second. Just hear me out. Just 1 second. Imagine for the next 3 weeks, through Thanksgiving, through the beginning of the holidays, through Black Friday, through Cyber Monday. So imagine for the next 3 weeks, if every morning for 5 minutes, you sat, you closed your eyes, you relaxed your stomach, your chest, your shoulders, your face. You took a deep breath in. You slowly let it out. You stayed in this place for 5 minutes, and you heard all sorts of great ideas go in your mind that made you feel good and inspired and excited and hopeful and optimistic. And and then at night, that's not even it. And then at night, you took 10 minutes and you listened to another session, and you went even deeper into that, and you got a core mantra put in your head. And so how would you feel 3 weeks from now if you did that? You'd probably feel great, wouldn't you? Oh. Dylan says, I feel like a big back now. I gained it back so fast. Doug, such a loser. Not really a loser. I mean, it's a shitty strategy. You're not a loser. Again, I was saying this to another client. He's in the pride. I fucking told him, but dieters going to diet. Dieters are going to diet, aren't they? But he was doing, and I told him, he starts the program. He goes, I'm going to listen to the hypnosis, but I'm going to do what do you think of this? I'm going to do my 24 routine. I said, what the fuck is that? And he goes, 20 hours of not eating, 4 hours of eating. And I'm going to do your program. I said, well, that's not my program, but dieters going to diet. Do what you want to do, And so, he gets on the other day and he goes, all right, you can tell me, you can gloat. It didn't work. Yeah, I said, I'm not going to gloat. It's like, I already fucking knew that. There's nothing to gloat about, and he's like, I feel like a loser. I'm a failure. And I said, you're not a failure, man. And again, if you were a failure, I'd call you like I am. It's not that I'm not, I am a nice person, I think, but I respect honesty over all else. So if you were a failure, I would say it. I think if you're dieting, I think you're going to fail. So I don't mind saying that, but I don't think he himself was a failure. I don't think Dylan's a failure because you lost weight and you couldn't keep it off. I don't consider that to be a failure. If your strategy to lose weight is to not eat for 20 hours a day and then to only eat for 4 hours a day, are you the failure or is the strategy the failure? And what I did is I put it in a different context to him. I said, the piano method. Let's say you've never played piano before, and I'm going to give you, I got the piano method that's going to make you good fast. And you're like, okay, give it to me. I don't care. I'll do anything. I said, all right, it's the 15-7 method. It's you practice 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you say, oh shit, yeah, I'll get good real fast. And he's okay. And then I see the following week and I say, how's the 15-7 model going? And you say, well, it was good for a day or two. And then I couldn't keep it up. I'm such a failure. I can't stick with anything. You can't stick with anything? Playing piano 15 hours a day. Yeah, it's too much. So again, I don't know what you did to lose weight, Dylan, but it was probably some extreme thing that's unsustainable. And here you are unsustaining it. But you blame yourself instead of the strategy. And so the big problem with that, folks, is what makes you all dieters. Because Dylan, if Dylan thinks that I'm the problem, what's going to happen is Dylan will either come back to that same strategy that didn't work and try it again and it won't work, or they'll just pick another strategy that's just as extreme. It won't work. And there it is. And so as long as you keep thinking you're the problem, you don't fix the strategy problem, which is the core problem. That's what I think anyways. And so teach their own. Themadar. I don't know how to say that, but Themadar teacher 77 says the hypnosis sessions, and I have to say it definitely works. My goodness, I can't type on this thing. I purchased the hypnosis sessions and it does work. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. Hypnosis works, folks. And hypnosis is not what you think most likely. Hypnosis is, again, it's two things, really. It's calming and relaxing. Could you use a little bit more calm and relaxation in your life? Are you the one American who's just completely calm and chilled out and relaxed? Or are you like the rest of us and you're just up to here with constantly, right? And especially the holidays coming. Oh God, here goes more stressed. And it's like, if you are, in my opinion, if you're not going to have at least one eye on your relaxation and calm, I think your chances of successfully losing weight go down dramatically. Because have you noticed that the more stressed out you are, the worse your eating is? Have you ever put that together? So yeah, relaxing and calming down and getting all this positive stuff put in your head is, yeah, can you imagine? It works. It does work. Let's see here. Tabitha says, Jim, I don't know why, but I'm on day 4, but I get day 3 reminders. I know why. Because of that friggin' nudge app, but it's gone. It's going away, Tabitha. So I'm going to have to figure out how to transfer people. That's the biggest issue I'm dealing with right now. But this is going to fix that. So we'll get that fixed, Tabitha. Jim said, yeah, I got very triggered right away and started defending myself and being really mean back to everyone. Now, honestly, I feel embarrassed, but honestly, I was so mad. It's no one's business about what I eat. I get it, Jim. I literally, like I said, I went through that same stuff. So no judgment here. But I went through, and again, good judgment's the result of bad judgment. So, I did the exact same shit. I said mean shit. And I was like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. And so the mistakes I made were what allowed me to improve and grow and evolve and whatever. And now when people say things to me, if they ever say anything to me, I respond completely different. So just, give yourself some grace. You're still learning. This is part of the learning process, is learning how to deal with other people and not internalize it, not respond, not react to it. But instead, again, if you were in the program, you would have done the redo technique on that, and you would have gone back and replayed it and come up with a better response, But again, just keep learning and growing and getting better with it. Yeah, Gratitude 108 says the hypnosis mantras are really well thought out. Thank you. My daughter said, I'm not sure what she said, but maybe your daughter said that the mantras are really well thought out. Folks, there's not a lot of me. Okay. I've been doing this personally for 30 years, professionally for 20 years. I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. And so my program, the hypnosis program, when you listen to, by the end of it, just the weekly and daily sessions, just that alone, not including the hypnosis library, put that to the side, just the daily and weekly hypnosis sessions, you're going to get 65 weight loss mantras piped into your brain. And they're very well thought out because they're the mantras that have had the best effects on my clients over 20 years. So yeah. And they're not the mantras. It's not the same dumb shit you always hear. You need to hear new stuff, folks. And yeah, the mantras are awesome. The hypnosis is awesome. It's crazy. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet. And it's important to do. Again, it's funny. I don't know if Dawn's here, but Dawn's been a long time podcast listener, and she just got the hypnosis program, and she was laughing because she's like, it's a different me. Obviously, when I'm hypnotizing you, I'm not swearing. I'm not, all hyped up and worked up. It's a much different voice. It's a much different feeling. It's a much different experience. But again, if you've never tried hypnosis, just go to my bio, click the link, and get the hypnosis session for free. Go test it out. Hypnosis is not what you think. You're hypnotized every day. You can be hypnotized. I promise. You are hypnotized. You're listening to this. You're probably a dieter. You're hypnotized to be a dieter. Hypnosis is real. It's constant. It's unavoidable. It's not what you think. So I could go into any more than that, but that's the thing. What's up, Claudia? Claudia says, hi, Jim. From which app will we receive the morning and evening hypnosis, if not from Nudge? It won't be an app. It'll be just like the email sent to your email. You're going to get a text message like straight from me, and it's just going to have a link on it. So you'll get the text, click on it. It'll bring you right to the session that day. So we're skipping we're cutting out the middleman. All right. However, there is going to be a new app coming down the pike. Will it happen this week? It might actually. And a lot of you seem to know the Circle app. If you know Circle, right? It's a membership app. And so that's going to be really cool. I think you're going to love that. I'm super excited about it. In addition to being able to connect with other people that are in the program, it's a very easy way to kind of navigate to all the main parts of the program. So yeah. So again, I will let you all know. I'll let you know all that stuff. So Mary says, yeah, KT means both being fat and doing fat activities, basically. Yeah. Big back activities. Yes. Mary says, it's so crazy how right you are about me and my life. I know it's probably fat phobic or something, like fat people are just hated for existing sometimes. My friends were eating fast food too, but they do sometimes say that I should probably be eating differently from them. But I say I count my calories, so it's okay. And I also eat junk only when I'm going out. Yeah, I mean, I get it, Mary. I'm right there with you. I'm extremely empathetic. I mean, my whole life is built around this. You know what I mean? Like I am extremely empathetic to the struggles of overweight people, physically, mentally, and emotionally is the biggest one for me. Emotional and mental. The physical one's important too, because it's going to affect how long you live most likely. But for me, the one that really gets me in the gut, that arouses me to action, is the mental, emotional consequences of being overweight and how hard it is. And Mary, you're exactly, because you just feel like shit all the time. You hang out with your friends and you feel shitty because they're saying shitty things to you. It just sucks. It sucks. So, and then you sit there trying to defend yourself. It sucks. I feel bad for Mary. I don't feel bad. I mean, it is what it is, but again, at the very least, I hope you go get my hypnosis session and watch the video. The video I think is more important than the hypnosis session, to be honest. Aphrodite says, it's been so hard with the food noise lately. I feel so controlled by food. It's exhausting, especially with Thanksgiving approaching. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, it's so hard. It's so stressful. People always tell me, and that's part of the problem. You're stressed out. Listen, folks, the easiest way I can get you all to eat more food is to stress you out. Like it's the most basic shit on the planet. And this is why, I mean, again, I know I say this all the time, but the diets, all the diets you're referencing are owned by big food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. The company that owns Slim Fast, the same company that owns Ben and Jerry's ice cream. These companies don't want you to eat less food. So when you go on their diet, they're just filling your head with bullshit. Do you not believe that? Are you you're not an idiot. So how can you keep fucking studying diets for decades and be no better off? Don't you find that odd? I mean, shit, you went to college and learned crazy things, but you can't learn how to diet. You can't learn how to be a thin, healthy person. Well, you could, but you're never actually learning how to be a thin, healthy person. You learn to diet. You've been obsessed with dieting your whole life. And I will say once again, as much as you defend dieting and believe that's the way, I do this every day and I shit talk dieting the entire time. And I never get anyone say, no, Jim, you're wrong. Dieting works. I never get that. I've gotten it about 4 times. And those 4 people usually show up here all the time now because they realize I was right. I'm not right about everything. I'm right about this though. If you don't believe me, let's go at it. Let's go at it. Go defend a diet to me. Let's hear it. Don't you find that crazy, folks, that no one will defend a diet and yet all of you just want a diet to lose weight? What the fuck does that mean? I don't know what it means. And I think about it every day. But I'm at my goal weight, so I don't know. I don't give what can I do? What's up, Kermit? How's it going? You kind of look like me. I do kind of look like I can just see a tiny little picture, but it looks like that, right? A less hot version of me. All right, that's all right. For me, he says, thank you, Jim, for sharing all your wisdom. You're welcome. That's what I love to do. I really do. I really, really genuinely do. I love it. I love what I do. I regularly say I'm the luckiest person on the planet. I just love what I do. It hasn't always been easy. I will tell you that. Back in the early days, it was hard because I really had to kind of create my own lane to some degree. But now I got that lane created, and now it's just a joy to be able to share this with people because I know that your inability to lose weight is probably one of the core reasons you don't feel good. And it's a bummer to me. So it makes me feel good that I can get on the podcast just for free too. Because I say that all the time that I used to, my business model is I did a lot of private coaching. That was mainly what I did. And it was good in a lot of ways. But the big problem was that I wasn't able to influence and help as many people as I wanted to. And so that was the big shift 2 years ago when I really changed the business model to this. And now it really does check all the boxes. I get to help you all for free. I get to help my hypnosis clients. I get to help my mastery clients, and then I get to help my coaching clients, my group coaching and my private clone. So it's just amazing. Can you have it all? I don't know. Somehow I figured it out. I really feel that way, but I'm glad you appreciate it. Tabitha said, Jim, since I started listening to the sleeping sessions, I literally fall asleep. That never happened. I'm too relaxed. Well, let's take a screenshot of that because again, I don't know. Folks, how's your sleeping? Yeah. Sleeping's a skill, and hypnosis is one of those hypnosis literally is the old Greek word for sleep. So I learned very quickly as a hypnotist that the best thing I could do for people is relax them and bring them right to the edge of sleep. So, that's almost embedded in the program is that you're just going to sleep better when you start using it. There's lots of, again, I go into this more, but there's lots of collateral benefits that you get from listening to hypnosis sessions. And one of them is that you'll sleep better. So that's awesome, Tabitha. And of course, sleeping better, certainly as you start sleeping better week after week after week, that alone is going to help you and support you with your weight loss. Cars fan, do you ever do past life regression? I used to do it back in the day, and I don't do that anymore. Tabitha says, when I wake up, I have my headphones on from the night before. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so crazy, right? That's a full night of sleep. Good for you. That's awesome. Mary says, yeah, sometimes I feel like a bad person just by being fat. And then the only way to comfort myself is food. Yep. Oh, I did watch your video. Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah, I get it. Right? It's a trap. It's the cycle. It's not uncommon and it's a tough one. But again, we need to start getting more genuine, hey, listen, it's America, right? We're always taught to use consumption basically in one form or another to deal with our emotional issues. So I get it. You're not alone. Thimadar says it's such a sad state of affairs. You're so right. You're so right. It's such a mind fuck. Yes, it really is. It really is. It's a mind fuck. And again, I mean, I hate to say it, but you just follow the money. You know how much money is being made off of you being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy? I mean, it's like that's like the whole engine that drives the economy, it feels like, you know? And so there's so much money being made off of bullshitting you all. First of all, to get you addicted to the food, to create foods that's so addictive, to create nonstop advertising and marketing to get the addiction in the first place. And then there's the diets, which just really reinforce the whole thing. They just fill your head with rocks. You got to know that, because again, the dieters, you've been dieting for decades at this point. If you're honest with yourself, this is a crazy thought. So sit down. But it's like, if you're really honest with yourself, the truth is you don't know how to lose weight anymore now than you did before you started your first diet all those years ago. You're just as flummoxed and confused. You have no idea what to do. And it's because every diet is constantly telling you what to do. And you never, ever, ever, never learn how to get yourself to do these things. You never learn how to influence your mind. You never learn how to really, truly influence your behaviors in a way that works. So you rely on willpower. And you think that the problem is always the plan. It's not. You can insert whatever plan you want. The problem is not the plan. The problem is that you can't follow the plan because you do not know how to change your behaviors. You do not know how to change your mind. You don't. Prove me wrong. I'll take that all day long. You'll never prove me wrong with that. I guarantee it. And so the entire world's looking at, tell me what to eat. And I'm looking at, no, you have no fucking clue how to get yourself to do it. So this part doesn't matter. Right? I mean, shit. I mean, the epitome of that is a dietitian and nutritionist. You could literally go visit a dietitian and nutritionist. They could give you a customized plan, custom built for you. And you're still not going to lose weight because you're not going to be able to follow it. You don't know how to change. Right? I know how to change, Jim. I just got to do it. That's not change. That's being the same, but forcing yourself to act different. It's a totally different thing. And it doesn't work. Hasn't worked. It's not going to work. Jim, why are you so negative? Am I being negative? Am I? Why? Because I'm saying a truth. Kermit says, what diet do you do? I know we look alike, but I think I'm quite chubby. You're way thinner. Well, what diet do I do? I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, Jim, maybe you should talk about your diet more, because that's what people love to hear. I'm on the fence with it. Because I know you just want to hear everyone else. Jim, just tell me what you eat. Just tell me what you eat. Diet, that's a dieter mantra, right? I should write. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I program myself. Then we got all the mantras, right? There's 65 of them, and then on top of that, I got so many mantras that it's like I got a whole program after that. The Thrive program, it's a whole year of daily mantras, weekly mantras after that. So we think in mantras, folks. They're called heuristics in the technical term, and so we think in mantras where we just loop through the same thoughts. But I should make a video or a program on dieter mantras. And one of the core dieter mantras, just tell me what you eat. What do you eat? What do you eat? Tell me what you eat. Why? So that you can eat that way? You think you're going to eat like me? I've been working on my eating for 30 years. I didn't just start eating this way in one day. It's been 30 years of focusing on it. And the most important piece, the way I eat is built around me, my preferences, what I like, what my lifestyle is, my personality. 30 years. I've read literally thousands of books at this point, so I could tell you what I eat, but it wouldn't matter. But I will give you some of the broad strokes. Okay. So the broad strokes, because again, what I like to think, I'll give you a little bit of background here. Again, I tell you I'm a blessed person. I'm not gonna go into all the details today, but there was a moment in my life that was really, it could be called a miracle. I think it could be called a miracle. I was 50 pounds heavier. I was a binge drinker, out of control with the eating, out of control with, I was a madman. And I was in a rough spot. And long story short, I was exposed to a lot of things just miraculously. No fault of my own, no benefit. No, I didn't take it on myself. It just happened to me. The universe just dropped stuff in my lap. One of those things was everything too. It was hypnosis, personal development, Tony Robbins, NLP, martial arts, guitar, yoga, meditation, all this stuff. But one of the big ones was the martial arts, because it wasn't just the regular martial arts. Magically, it was Bruce Lee's martial art. And very few people know about this. But Bruce Lee was not just a movie star. He was A, a philosophy major, a deep thinker, and B, an amazing martial artist. And he combined the martial arts with the philosophy, and he came up with his own system called Jeet Kune Do. And Jeet Kune Do's philosophy was basically study everything, take what works, discard the rest. And so I could tell you that my diet really is the Jeet Kune Do of diet, meaning that I will study all the different diet philosophies, take the parts that work, discard the ones that don't work for me. And so I sit here now with a diet philosophy that has little remnants of all the diets that you all have tried to do. In terms of keto, I absolutely now again, I'll back it up. Program Yourself Thin. We have clean days, pleasure days. And so my clean day eating is different than my pleasure day eating, right? So I got 5 clean days a week, 2 pleasure days. On my clean days, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to reduce flour, right? So usually I'm not eating any flour on those days. Sometimes I do, but my intention is I don't want to eat sugar. I don't want to eat flour, or I want to eat very, very, very little of it. So again, that's kind of my keto version of it, right? Is I don't want to eat refined carbs most of the week. Okay. And so now complex carbs all day long, right? Vegetables. Yeah. Okay. But whole grains. Yeah, I'll eat that. So sugar and flour, definitely move those out. Processed food, ultra processed food, very, very little of that all week long. I eat very, very little processed, ultra processed food. I eat a lot of whole foods, right? So I eat a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables. I'm a pescatarian. I eat a little bit of fish. I'm primarily a vegetarian, very veganish. I don't drink any milk. I eat a little bit of yogurt, a little bit of cheese here and there, eat some eggs. Okay. I only eat eggs on the weekend. I'm a big believer in calorie density food choices, right? So if you don't understand calorie density, that's the amount of calories in the volume of food you're eating. This really is the holy grail of weight loss, because this allows you to reduce calories while you still feel full and satisfied. So that's a huge part of what I do. And then ultimately, I think the biggest thing of all is that I structure my eating. So I eat very similar. Those 5 days, I eat the same breakfast, the same lunch. Dinners change, but they're similar week to week. And then on my pleasure days, those are structured too. And I eat very similarly. So I have a very strategic approach to my diet. And again, I could talk about it all day long, but I don't want to, because none of that matters. It doesn't matter. I can sit here and tell you exactly what I eat, and you'll try and do it and it won't work, and you'll wonder why. And again, it's because you don't have the mindset. So that's why I don't talk about it too much. But hopefully I helped you out a little bit. Carmen says, I'm usually so undisciplined when it comes to diets. I've been to multiple nutritionists. Yeah, sure. Kermit says, are you also about 30? Well, thank you very much. That just made my day. No, I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50. So I know I look younger. I do a lot of yoga. I live a very healthy lifestyle. I've been doing this for 30 years, so yeah, it'll happen, but no, I'm 50. What are some strategies to change your mindset? That's a good question. Strategies to change your mindset. Well, the first thing we got to understand is, what's a mindset? What is a mindset? Right? So in Program Yourself Thin, we got 6 categories of what a mindset is. It's motivation, self-image, habits, emotions, thinking, maintenance. And so we go through those specific categories. But how do you change your mindset in general? In a more general way, you could start to notice the 2 things I would say if you want to notice your mindset in a very, just the simplest way. First of all, is how do you talk to yourself? We all have an internal dialogue, right? We all talk to ourselves in our head. That's the first thing. So you've got to change that, because your internal dialogue is very, very negative, and it's just grinding you down to a pulp. It's literally, if you want to talk, if there is such a thing as self-sabotage, it would be that negative voice in your head. It grinds you down to a pulp, and it's very difficult to succeed with that voice. So that's got to change. We need to create a much more encouraging, supportive voice in our head that guides us through this process. And most of you do not have that. So that's what my program is. My program is basically me installing my positive, encouraging, supportive voice. I'm a surrogate voice in your mind to be positive, encouraging, to bring you through this process. You've literally never even had that. So the first step in my mind of a mindset is internal dialogue. The next one is the beliefs you have. What do you believe? And you probably believe, so I'll just give you this quick one. One of the core belief shifts we make with Program Yourself Thin from a diets are all about weight loss, meaning the whole goal is to get to your goal weight. Program Yourself Thin is all about weight mastery. The difference being that it's not about just getting to your goal weight. It's about living at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot. Think about that for a second. If you never heard that, let that sink in for a second. As much as you've been focusing on losing weight, you never once in your life have ever had the idea that, you know what, actually, I don't want to lose weight. I want to live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on near autopilot. You've never once come within 1,000 yards of that thought. Don't you think that's a problem? So there's a belief shift that there's two examples of, again, your internal dialogue, your beliefs, and that's probably the biggest belief shift that gets you started on this path, because Program Yourself Thin is a weight mastery path. It never ends. You walk it till the last breath on earth. Whereas the dieting path is just to get to your goal weight. Well, then what? Oh, then I'll figure it out, Jim. Then I'll figure it out. You sound so confident when you say it, but I don't believe you. Well, why don't you believe me, Jim? Why are you being so negative? Well, what's happened the last 5 times you lost weight? What did you say? So why would the next time be different? I don't know. It just will be. Okay. Regina says, we're so conditioned by diet industry to think we have to be told exactly what to put in our mouths. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And not only that, but that idea that we need to be told what to do leads to a bigger problem, that every diet is not built for you, right? Think about these diets. What are we saying? That keto is the right thing for everyone on the planet? Weight Watchers, that's the way 8 billion people should lose weight? Intermittent fasting, that's what would work for everyone? And so again, what happens is dieting is like metaphorically, it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And that's what it feels like for you, right? So again, Program Yourself Thin is built around who you are. That's why I don't really want to tell you what I eat for my diet, because who gives a shit? You're not me. You probably don't like the same foods I like, do you? Again, dieting, if you put it in a different context, it reveals how goofy it is. Like with dieters are just tell me what to eat, just tell me what to eat. It's like, do you have any respect for yourself at all? Would you let me tell you how to dress, what movies to watch, what music to listen to? I mean, you're a human being living a human life, and you want to live my life? But, I'll just eat whatever you tell me to eat, I'll do. Really? Do you really believe that? Because it's a big crock of shit. You won't do it anyways. You never fucking say that again, okay? Please don't think that you're just need to be told what to do. You've been told what to eat hundreds of times and you've never done it. What's up, Vicky? Vicky says, weight mastery is my ongoing mission. Yeah, me too. And Vicky's in the program. She's going to be in the Thrive program soon. I got your email, Vicky. I'm going to send it back. I just need to, I gave that everyone's got that trial to the Thrive program. Yeah, exactly. Vicky says, thanks to PYT, I'm always in the game and get the support I need. Yeah, exactly. Kermit says, I feel so ashamed. I'm going on vacation in 4 months and I want to get fit fast. Kermit says, you're 50. Do you drink some sort of youth elixirs? Yeah, I mean, I live a healthy lifestyle, right? The fountain of youth is to have the right mindset, the right lifestyle, and the right eating patterns, as far as I can tell, you know? So, Kermit says, I'm also a binge drinker. Oh yeah, that'll age you too. Thank God I got a handle on my binge drinking early. It's a straight miracle. Like I said, it wasn't any fault. I didn't take it on to do this. This shit just literally fell in my lap. I swear to you. And I was out of control of the drinking. And, like for about 4 years there, in the end of my high school, the beginning of my college, I was always the one that got the drunkest. It's hard to believe. Maybe it's hard to believe. It feels like a million years ago. It feels like a different person. And it was the worst, awfulest version of me that existed. And the reason I was binge drinking, a big part of it anyways, the reason I was always eating and just miserable is because a big part of it anyways, one part of it is the environment I kind of grew up in, supported a lot of that. But the other part is that my father died when I was 9. I never dealt with any of that emotion. I didn't have any idea how to. And so I basically just ran 100 miles away from it, towards the alcohol, towards the food, towards the entertainment, towards the crazy behavior. And for me anyways, the meditation, the yoga, the kind of coming into myself and being able to interface with all these intense emotions was really the beginning of my path. And so I sit before you now and I'm so much more at peace. I can really interface with these really intense emotions now in a grounded way. And so for me, that was the foundation. All of my success has been built on, you know. Big Mama Love says, I'm so confused. Why does Kermit have your photo as a profile pic? That's not my photo. He just said we look alike, right? Oh, hey, that's me. Wait a second. I got you. That's so funny. I couldn't see it. That's funny to me. I can't even tell it's my own picture. So anyways, that's funny. And Kermit's just joking around over here. That is funny. I'm glad you said that. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice my own picture. That's how much I can't really see. I can't really see those pictures. Vicky says, love Thrive and just scratching the surface. Yes, the Thrive program is awesome. It is that the Thrive program will be my legacy. You know, I love Program Yourself Thin, but I'll say something here that I do believe. There's the hypnosis program, which I think is amazing. And I think it's a huge, great, amazing value. It's $97 right now. It's an amazing value for 8 weeks of hypnosis. It's without question. And I'll challenge you. It's without question. Just the Program Yourself Thin is an 8-week hypnosis program. It is the #1 hypnosis program on the planet for weight loss. And I challenge you, if you can find a more comprehensive weight loss program, hypnosis weight loss program, I will literally just give you $100. You send me the link. I'll go check it out. It's more comprehensive. I will send you $100. Now I will let you know you're not going to find one because I know all the programs and nothing comes close to this. Because again, pretty much I know all the people that make all the top hypnosis programs you're going to see. I know them. I've been doing this for 20 years. And as much as I like these people, they are usually marketers first, hypnotists second, and weight masters not at all. So again, for me, A, I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet. And B, I've been working exclusively, I don't want to say exclusively, but primarily on weight mastery, personally for 30 years, professionally for 20 years. So I have, it's so funny. I just created a clone of myself, an AI clone of myself. And just from 2 years of material, there's 13 million words in it. You know, you know how much talking about weight loss you got to do to talk 13 million words in 2 years? Think about that, right? And that's not even all of it. That's not even all my private sessions. It's crazy. And it's not even all my group sessions. So again, there's not too many of me. But anyways, I got a little lost in my own self. But yeah, Program Yourself Thin Thrive. So there's the Program Yourself Thin, the hypnosis program. There's the mastery program. And then graduates in the mastery program get an invitation to the Program Yourself Thin Thrive. And that's an ongoing program. And I do think, I mean, just to be completely honest, I think that just like college, I could, imagine college, like you go there and you just pick up the books and it's like, okay, here you go. Right. Versus the person that actually goes to college. Which one do you think is going to do better? So, again, I make different programs because I know there's different levels of commitment, investment people can make. But ultimately, when you get into a support system that keeps you moving forward in a very strategic way, your chances of success go way up. And so the Thrive program is really, really exciting for that. And it's awesome. Alana says, why is it so easy to keep doing things that are bad for you and so hard to do the good things? Why is it so easy to keep doing things that are bad for you? Well, I know that question gets asked a lot. To be honest, that's not fair, right? Because there is a little bit of truth to it, first of all. Like there's a little bit of truth to it, but it's not as intense as you think it is, simply because you brush your teeth every day. Is that hard for you to do? Right? If anything, it'd be really hard for you to stop brushing your teeth. Imagine that. You ever I've done it like a couple times in my life. Like I just went to bed. I don't know what happened, but I went to bed and I forgot to brush my teeth. And I'm sitting there and I realized it. And it's like, I'm never going to be able to sleep. So it's not exactly true. Okay. Basically what we're referring to is that in your life, if you're an American, basically toothbrushing is the one healthy habit that you were taught. Right? Think about it. Toothbrushing is the one healthy habit you were taught. And now it just runs automatically. You just do it without even thinking about it. Autopilot. and to stop doing it would feel weird. It'd be hard. And because you live in America, you've been taught millions of bad habits to do constantly. You're constantly reinforced, right? So again, I'm not going to argue that bad habits are a bit easier for certain reasons, psychologically, physiologically, biochemically. There are reasons, but we can't discount the fact that, well, why is it easier to eat healthy, or why is it easier to eat bad food than it is healthy food? Well, let's take a step back and we got to look at the conditioning. How many ads a day do you see for unhealthy food? Like 10,000? Yeah, I said 10,000. That sounds like a lot. Well, I'm not just talking about the advertisements you see, which is in the thousands. I'm talking about when you walk into a convenience store, you're hit with 1,000 ads right in your eyeballs of all those products, right? So you live in a world where you're constantly getting this reinforced message of unhealthy, bad food. And to the flip side, what marketing or conditioning are you getting to eat healthy foods? How much healthy food do you even see a day on an advertisement or in real life? And there's a huge disparity there. So that's a huge part of it. And that's one of the reasons why I separate out the hypnosis program, because literally the hypnosis program, it becomes, for most people, it's the only time you've ever had positive ideas and messages put into your mind consistently. Doesn't exist in this culture. You don't see any advertisements for salads and fruits and vegetables and healthy food and water and walking and meditating and doing some yoga and nourishing your body, relaxing, calming down. You never, ever, ever, never have seen not even one ad for it in your whole life. Yet you've been exposed to hundreds and hundreds of millions of ads and messages to eat bullshit. So that's a huge part of it. And so, yeah, we got to flip that around, you know? Kermit says, I was waiting for you to notice. I'm a big fan. Honestly, love your content. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That is so funny. Now I understand what you're saying. Yes, now I could see that. I don't know. To me, let's be honest, right? All us bald older white guys look alike. At least they do to me. Anyways, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. I got to get out of here. If you're not in my world, please go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, get on my email list, read the emails, watch the video, listen to the hypnosis session, and check that stuff out. It'll help you. If you like this here, I'm here every day. Usually Monday through Fridays around noon Eastern. So if you have any questions, pop on here. I'll do what I can to help you out. And if you miss it and want to listen to it, go check out the podcast. This is a podcast. It's called Program Yourself Thin, and it's on all the podcast platforms. You can go check that out. And yeah, if you're really serious, go get the program. All right. Get started, cut the shit, and then make a real change in your life. So, all right.